What's going on, guys? It's Legacy, and here's a commentary for you guys talking about what I think you should get, what I think you should stay away from, and what I think is absolutely necessary if you want to get into competitive gaming. So here is what I am recommending. So as you might know, there are tons and tons of products out there for people who are trying to get into competitive gaming, and I mean like tons. And it's kind of ridiculous, like how people keep coming out with more things. Like over the past year, there've been like I don't even know how many, but tons of new like companies and like things that you wouldn't even think are related to gaming still coming out, and just like you're like shocked that it's actually selling. So I'm gonna tell you what I have, and yeah. So one second. All right. So this is my current setup. I have Astro A40s with a mix amp. I have Triton AX720s, which I don't use anymore. A 23-inch 1080p LG monitor. I have. Well, I'm not. I'm just gonna ignore my my laptop. I have FPS Freak Prestige Edition. Those are Black Ops Prestige Edition. An HD PVR. I had a Scuff Ravage. I have a Scuff FPS competition. I have Neptune Amber Gunners. I had Squid Grips. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So here's my recommendation for you guys. Or I'm going to tell you what I think is absolutely necessary first. So what I think is necessary to get into competitive gaming is one, a wired controller. Whether you get a wired controller or like you just get a Scuff, like one of those like big brand name like competitive controllers. Or you could just get like a Mad Catz controller. I wouldn't recommend that though. I mean, those are kind of like the worst ones. But definitely get a wired controller if you plan on going to events. If you plan on doing LANs, get wired. If you don't plan on traveling and just doing like GB tourneys or just game battles and not taking it to the point of like MLG like events, then you're fine with a wireless. Next thing is get a good headset, because in competition, in competitive, you're always going to need to be able to communicate with your teammates, and you're always going to need to be able to sound whore, because search will always be in competitive. I can tell you that right now. In every COD so far, search has been I can't even speak. Search has been in competitive, and I don't think it's ever going to leave. I mean, it's just one of the most popular game types, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. Every week, there's tons of S&D tourneys on GB. For MW3, and even MW2 is still popular. So, I recommend getting a really good headset, depending on how much money you're willing to spend. Tritons usually are the mid-value headsets. You can get Turtle Beaches. Those are the lower value headsets. Those are pretty good, but they are the cheapest. So you can imagine that it's not going to be as great as quality as some Tritons and Astros, which are the highest value headsets. I'm sure there are other ones that are less popular than Astro, but as of right now, the most popular and expensive headset is Astro A40s or A50s if you want to get the wireless one with a mix amp. And again, if you plan on going to events like MLG events, you got to get a wired everything, like wired headset and wired controller. You cannot have wireless at events. And this is MLG events I'm talking about. If you plan on really going like overseas to do events like EGL, I don't know the rules there. I assume it's the same thing. Everything's got to be wired. But some local LAN centers, like I remember I used a wireless controller and a wireless headset back at one LAN center for MW2, and they were fine with it. So it really depends on where you plan on competing. Some places vary, but for MLG and EGL and all those places, it's pretty much always going to be wired everything. So just keep that in mind when you're purchasing your headsets. If you want my suggestion on the Triton AX720s and the Astro A40s, I think that the Astros makes you feel like you are in-game. I feel like when I use my Astros, I kind of twitch and shake a lot more. Like I'm startled more when I use my Astros when someone is to like shoot me in the game, as compared to like when I use Tritons. I feel like when I use Tritons, I'm more not as connected in game, and I'm more like connected to IRL as opposed to when I'm wearing my Astros. I think that's mainly because my Astros block outside sound a lot better than my my AX720s, and that's kind of the reason why I kind of get too into the game. So that's just my personal experience with it. And also, if you are going to get the Astro A40s or A50s or anything like that, get the mix amp. It is absolutely necessary. It also makes for a great mic if you plan on doing commentaries, and just great for listening to music. Whenever I'm in my dorm room, not playing Xbox, I always have my headset on, just listening to music on my computer, just chilling there. So definitely pick up Astros. That's my recommendation. And FPS freaks. So these things kind of grew and then they kind of died off. Back at MW2 and Black Ops, they were like really, really big, and that's when they were growing. But in MW3, they're just kind of dying off because people are seeing scuffs now where you can get like PS3 sticks, and that's what people really want. They don't want to have like huge things growing off their controller. Well, not really growing, but like extending off their joystick, so they got like a huge like raise for their thumbs. It's kind of uncomfortable and kind of f's up your thumbs after a while. So, if I were you, I would stay away from FPS freaks. If you want to, get the close quarter combat ones, because my teammate Reaper says that those are pretty good. And, yeah, if you're going to get FPS freaks and you really are serious about them, go for the close quarter combat ones, I guess. My ones that I used were really good when I used them, but, it is kind of a hassle, because it seems like it's not that much of a rise for your thumb to go up higher when they're on, but it's a pretty big rise. And when you take them off, your shot's gonna be way off. Like, I don't care who you are, how skillful your shot is, it's gonna be way off after you use FPS freaks for a while and go back. Another item, a PVR or a video capture device. Now, I think that this would be an accurate statistic. I'd say that 30 to 40% of all competitive gamers have some YouTube channel or some way of recording their gameplay, whether it be with a camera on a tripod, a Dazzle, a PVR, Blackmagic Intensity Pro, or even like an Elgato or like something like really high end. So, I mean, it really varies, and if you do plan on doing YouTube and stuff like that, then make sure that you are pretty good first. Make sure that you have to go through this process. You have to think, do I have content that would attract people? Do I have the time and effort that I want to put into YouTube and streaming? Do I have the good internet connection that I need? Do I have the editing programs that I need? And just all those things you have to consider before you actually purchase like a PVR or something, like a big purchase like that. You also need to think, do you have an HD TV? And what resolution you play in. If you play in like 1080p and you are too used to like the screen lag, then it's going to be kind of a hard transition going to 720p, because that's what you have to play in, or 1080i for recording with a PVR, because the screen lag is like less and more for each resolution. So there's just a lot of things you got to think about. And another thing with YouTube, if you do plan on doing a YouTube channel and you really think that you're gonna try to make it big on YouTube, like I'm talking about like 10,000 plus subscribers or something like that, or maybe even 5,000 plus, that's kind of big. You gotta have a PVR or an Elgato, something that records in HD, like either with component cables or an HDMI cable. You can't be buying a Dazzle and think that you're gonna be able to, get a huge amount of subs, because mainly people that buy Dazzles, they think that, and then it collects dust because it's not helping them out. Or they just buy a Dazzle because all they have to do is take proof, when they could just take proof with like a camera. So I think Dazzle is a very bad choice. I would not go with it. Don't get a camera with a tripod. If anything, if you plan on doing a YouTube channel or streaming or anything like that, think about all those things I listed before. If you're really serious about it, look at the prices. I was able to get my PVR for $150 because my friend got me a discount because his brother worked at Best Buy. But yeah, Elgato and PVR, they're both around the same price range. If I were you, I'd go with Elgato. HDMI always looks better than component, and that's just my personal preference. And actually, I'm not even sure if Elgato works with Astros, but I definitely look into it. I I don't really know that much about Elgato's yet, but I know they're very good and like very high end. Also, if you plan on doing streaming a lot, like more streaming than YouTube, get a Blackmagic Intensity Pro, hands down. Okay, so that's enough about PVRs and stuff. Now, SCUF controllers. I already said this, but if you want to put the time and money, or not really time, but if you want to put the money into buying a SCUF, I'd say go for it. I think SCUFs are not cheap, and I guess I could tell you why in another commentary, but I mean, I'll just make it pretty quick. I think if people are allowed to use different headsets, and they're allowed to have like all these other products, then why can't they be allowed to use like a different type of controller? That's just my personal opinion. And yeah, so that's all I have to say about that. So if you are going to get a SCUF controller, then get a FPS competitive or competition. I really don't think the design matters. You really never look at your controller. And I think a blackout controller with blacked out buttons and everything looks pretty sick anyway. So that's what I would go with. It's the cheapest one. Get your paddles A, B. Back left is A, back right is B. Get the trigger stops. Really just deck it out. You want to get everything. I got 2 PS3 sticks because I like the way it feels. You really just want to make sure that you get everything you can on there. It's going to come to around 140 if you add everything you possibly can, remove rumble packs and stuff like that. And actually, they threw in a free case for me. I don't know why. It just came with a case. I was like, alright, that's pretty cool. But you don't need to buy like the case, the keychain, the t-shirt. Just the stuff for the controller. That's what I would recommend. And now we get to gunners. I do not think gunners are necessary. I have gunners and I like playing with them sometimes. And there are times where I like playing without them. It really depends on how the day is going or how I'm feeling that day with my eyes, regarding my eyes. And if my room has like the lights turned off, or if they have them on, I like using my gunners mainly when the lights are off. So it kind of brings more brightness and kind of like 3D into my I don't know. I don't know the word for it, but it kind of makes it a little more 3D when it's dark, and I think that's kind of cool. And it kind of puts you more like in the zone. That's the word, like in the zone. But if I were you, I would not get gunners. They're like $80. That's really unnecessary. And if someone is interested in buying mine, I'd really be willing to sell it. I like them, but I don't think it was worth $80. You probably don't want to buy them from me now, after I said, you know, I don't recommend them. But I will sell it if you're like really serious about them and you really do want them. I'll sell it to you for like $60 or something, or $50 on eBay, and you can just let me know and I'll put it up there. Or we could just do like a concealed deal or some shit like that. But I'd rather just do eBay because it's more legit. And squid grips now. Shit, I'm doing this really long. Wow, another 15-minute commentary. Squid grips. I had squid grips on my SCUF Ravage when I had it. And if you do plan on getting a SCUF, I don't know, I'd be really careful with squid grips, because if you buy squid grip and you put it on your SCUF and you need to send your SCUF back for repair, they will charge you $30 to take off the squid grip when you send it in. Or you could just take it off yourself and then send the controller. And the thing is, with squid grip, you can't put them back on. You put them on and you take it off. And that's it. You can't. It's kind of like a, I don't know, it's kind of like a Band-Aid, I guess. You put a Band-Aid on, you take it off, you can't really put it back on. It's just going to fall off. And really, it falls into pieces when you try to take it off. Like, you have to, like, rip it apart. So that's pretty much all my recommendations. Oh, yeah, I have a few more things I want to talk about. So, gamer gloves, no fucking point in getting those. I do not recommend those. If you're going to get a SCUF, just get the SCUF grip on the back and it's perfectly fine. If you do really need grip, don't get gamer grip. Don't get the gamer gloves. And actually, I would not recommend the SCUF grip. I would recommend getting squid grips, because you're not really going to have a situation where you're going to have to send your SCUF back for repair. So I would be a risky person and buy squid grips. It's only like $15, and if worse comes to worse, you have to take them off and send it back, and then you can just buy more. But they're really inexpensive, and they are very good. I really loved them when I had them on my controller. And if you're gonna get energy, you need energy for a match. Do not get Gung Ho. Do not get fucking Gamma Labs. Fuck that shit. Get Monster. Monster is the best energy supplement that you could possibly get. That's just my personal opinion. I think Monster tastes the best. I think Monster has the most energy. And I just think everything else, every other energy, tastes like shit and costs way too much money. So that's just my personal opinion, guys. If you really like Gamma Labs, like you have it, or you have Gung Ho or some shit like that, and you have it, then, you know, power to you. But I think that Monster is much better, and all this other energy supplement shit is so much more expensive. Like Gamma Labs, one of those tubs or one of those boxes of it, you're gonna spend at least $50 on that website. It's stupid. So just get like go to Walmart, get like a 10-pack of Monster, and you're fucking good. So I'll see you guys later. Please like the video, and peace.
Bomb defused! Good job, squad.